Got an important tariff rebate check update as well as a stimulus check update for you. Take a look at this article right here. Every U.S. resident to receive $1,000 stimulus check in their bank account soon. What we need to know, this is according to the Economic Times here, so I'll let you know what's going on with that. Also, a brand new program has just been approved giving out $18,000 in 18 months. That's $1,000 per month. I'll let you know who qualifies for that program. When it comes to the tariff rebate checks, this is in Trump's latest donation letter talking about the possibility of a dividend to the people and asking here at the bottom saying, should bonus revenue from tariffs go back to the American people via check signed by Trump? This is official, this letter right here. So I'm going to show you more on that. Also, we're going to find out what's the latest with the DOGE dividend checks. Any new news with that? And I'll give you some other important updates as well. Before I dive into the main content, if you appreciate the stimulus, tariff check rebate, and Social Security updates, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. So every U.S. resident to receive $1,000 stimulus check in their bank accounts. What we need to know, well, this I guess is another social media post saying that new $1,000 checks are coming in 2025. I'm going to tell you straight up, which is the reason why I'm sharing this first part of the video. This is not true. There are no more stimulus checks. Haven't seen any stimulus checks or proposals, anything like that. $1,000, no matter what amount. Basically, the biggest one right now is the tariff rebate check. So this one, where it's saying the U.S. government has approved $1,000 stimulus checks for every citizen in 2025. This is completely false. Don't fall for this. If you see any YouTube videos or any articles or anything on social media, this is not true. Just want to tell you the truth straight up. But this is true. So maybe somehow they're confusing that with this. Well, there is a new program, $18,000 in 18 months, no strings attached. This is a brand new guaranteed income pilot program in Contra Costa County. So this is just in California. Basically, under this program, 170 participants will be given $18,000 over 18 months. The project, administered by the county's Employment and Human Services Department. The board voted on this. Board of Supervisors voted and unanimously approved. So this pilot program is approved. Now, it's just a shame that it's only for 170 people and it's only in Contra Costa County, which is in California. So, but looks like these programs, these guaranteed income pilot programs, are still going on. Very few, not as much as there was before when all the stimulus money was flowing, but it looks like we do have some more of these programs. So what are your thoughts? 18,000, 18 months. Would you like to have something like this? Is that enough? Not enough? This is on top of whatever you're making, no strings attached. So I wanted to give you that update. Now, when it comes to the tariff check rebates, saying we're thinking about a rebate check. This is the email that came from Trump as Trump teases tariff rebate checks and ties idea to donations. Basically, for campaign fundraising, Trump is sending out these letters. I'll read the letter to you saying, we're thinking about a rebate. We have a lot of money coming in. It's coming in tremendous numbers. There's a concept of making a dividend to the people of this country who have paid a lot of taxes and got nothing for it. There's a possibility, primarily, we want to pay down debt, but there's a possibility that we take a piece of it and make a dividend to the people. We're thinking about a little rebate. And I know that might be very nice for Americans. Before end of the month deadline, please respond to this question. The question is, should bonus revenue from tariffs go back to American people via check signed by Trump? Thank you. God bless you. This is coming from Trump. So this is an official letter coming from Trump, the Trump administration, or the Trump campaign archives. So really curious. I mean, if he's putting this in there, to go back to this question, should revenue from tariffs go back to American people? Of course, every American is going to say that. If you're ever, well, actually, I'm going to show you a video clip. Anyone who opposes getting a tariff rebate check is usually someone who has enough money they don't have to worry about it, which is why a lot of politicians are saying, no, it's not a good idea. That's coming from people who are making $174,000 a year, plus whatever other money they're getting under the table. So anyone who denies the idea of a rebate check of $600, if anything, it should be more than $600 from the tariff revenue. So you have to question why would they be denying it? Is anyone on Social Security or anyone making less than, let's say, $50,000 a year going to say, no, I don't want an extra $600 or $2,400. I'd rather that go to the debt that we didn't even cause, right? So I think a lot of people are for that. Next, let's get into this. Here's how much may be added to your wallet in rebates due to Trump's tariffs. So as I mentioned, $600 is where it's at. I think we collected $159 billion so far in tariff money. Not as high as the trillions of dollars that we might see over the next decade, but yeah, so we're seeing that. Now, a big question here, what about the DOGE stimulus check? If you've been following the DOGE dividend check, I covered it a lot because it was exciting. The government was supposed to save something like $2 trillion, which means everybody would get a $5,000 check, which is huge. Now, to throw out that number saying, yeah, you're going to get a $5,000 check. That was only if the full $2 trillion was saved. But I think before Doge fell apart and the fallout with Elon Musk and Trump, I think the check would have been around $900 with the amount of money that they saved, according to the website. So $900, still better than a $600 check from the tariffs. So yeah, when it comes to the Doge dividend check, haven't heard anything, because I think once Elon Musk and Trump had their fallout, and then a lot of the Doge workers, one of them I think went to a few of them actually went to government agencies. I think one of them went to the Social Security Agency, Big Balls, that was him. I forgot his real name, but Big Balls went to the Social Security Administration. I guess they wanted to use his skills for something there, but actually as a government employee. Official government employees. So yeah, Doge kind of broke up, unfortunately. You're not going to see those $5,000 checks. But when it comes to the tariff check rebates, this is one of the latest video clips. Take a listen to this. And one of the guys is skeptical about these checks, but it makes me wonder, he may be financially well, which is why he's denied that type of money. But take a listen to this.
Welcome on back. So this morning we want to take a closer look at a plan that Congress is currently considering. It would send $600 tariff rebate checks to Americans. Now this would go to adults and kids who meet certain income requirements. This is similar to those stimulus checks a lot of us got at the start of the pandemic. Now Republican Senator Josh Hawley just introduced it a week ago, so there's still a long way to go before anything happens, but it does bring up a lot of interesting talking points. So we wanted to talk with financial advisor Bruce Allen about this proposal. Bruce, thanks so much for being with us here this morning. Now, before we talk about the financial impact of these, I know we were talking on the phone last week and we're just talking about all the things that this kind of brings up. Can you walk us through what we saw when those stimulus checks during the pandemic, kind of what effect that had on the economy and kind of people's personal finances?
Sure. So in the first round, we saw in March of 2020, right when the economy was shutting down, unemployment jumped in March and April of 2020 to 14%, Dan. So we saw millions of Americans out of work. Congress passed a stimulus plan to pay $1,200 to each income tax filer, and that money was essential in terms of helping people get through the pandemic to some degree. In December 2020, we had round two of the stimulus plans, which was $600, which is what the senators currently, or the, representatives currently proposing. And that was $600 in December of 2020. So during 2020, we saw over $400 billion worth of stimulus payments paid. March of 2021, there was a third round of stimulus, if you can keep up with all this.
Yeah, a lot of numbers.
$1,400 per person.
Yeah.
We saw inflation, which stayed below 2% from March of 2020 through March of 21, jump in March of 21 to 2.6% and head up after that. Many people said that the stimulus was to blame for all of the inflation. While it's a piece of that inflation picture, it's not all of it, but it did help promote inflation. And that's the concern about this particular, will that promote inflation in this particular circumstance?
And we know the Fed has been keeping a close eye on inflation and how the tariffs will affect it. Now, getting back to those tariffs, I mean, the idea of $600 in your bank account it's an awesome thing that so many Americans could need with their personal finances. But do you think that these stimulus checks that they're considering could help offset the higher prices that could come from tariffs?
Well, assuming that we know what the tariffs are going to be, which we don't,
Yeah.
but the guesses are from National Taxpayer Union, the tariffs are going to cost the average American family, based on the data we have in the last week, roughly $2,048. And according to the Yale Budget Lab, they're going to cost around $2,400. That's per family. The question really is, how are the tariffs going to impact the economy? These are guesses. We don't know yet.
Yeah. And the very last question is, how would we get any clarity on the economic impact of these potential checks should they pass through Congress?
The tariffs that are being passed right now is the biggest tariff experiment that's happened since 1930. Will they be successful at helping improve the American economy, and how will they impact you and me and every other American? Nobody knows yet. So trying to muddy the waters with stimulus payments on top of that, that's a separate item. That's some kind of financial engineering. Do we really need financial engineering to see whether the tariffs are going to work or not? And I think the key thing really is, a lot of people, including people on Wall Street, people investors, and people who are economists, want to know, will the economy benefit from tariffs or be hurt by tariffs? And throwing stimulus checks on top of that seems like that might be a little bit of a confusing message.
There's so much to parse through between the political ramifications, the personal finance ramifications, and of course the big economic ramifications. So thank you so much for your insight this morning, Bruce.
Nice to be here.
What are your thoughts on what they had to say about the tariff rebate checks? Now you can see, they gave some information, but one of them is saying, no, I'd rather pay down the debt. I think usually anyone who would say that doesn't need any more money. They have enough money. They have enough money to retire. They have enough money for their family. But what about the people? If you were to ask someone who didn't have enough money for retirement, is living paycheck to paycheck, barely able to cover their bills, barely able to feed their family, do you think they would say, no, I don't want any money. I'd rather just to go towards the debt? I don't think so. So I think most people are for it, most Americans, since most Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. But that's just what I think. What are your thoughts there? And that is all the news that I have for you today to hopefully cheer you up a bit. Here's my daughter Bella's tip of the day.
One, go! Fly, the monster bleeds in the closet, and that waist is bleeding. I would. Bye.
Bernie Sanders calling for an additional $200 more per month. Go over that in this video over here. I'll also play the latest video clip with Bernie Sanders about Social Security and the need to increase benefits. If you haven't heard Bernie Sanders speak recently about Social Security, this is it right here. So click that video now, and I'll see you in that video. Take care, be safe. Thank you for watching.